Okay, Itameksistiko, good day. It is late morning, early afternoon on Monday, January 15th, I believe, 2018, in just going into the fourth winter lunar cycle, Kattoi, which is when people would kind of lean on one another as the food storages, the preserved foods kind of diminished and some families were coming up short, you know. That's this time of year in the past, middle of winter. And I'm out here along the river, along the Old Man River, in the area that I call Sspopiikimi, the turtle waters. Just out here for a very brief visit this morning, because yesterday I came out with three other learners and did kind of my usual Sunday morning phenology round. For those who live in Lethbridge and don't know, I do run a year-round course on basically the ecology of this area, and it's a field course that includes guided walks every Sunday morning. So I was out here with three of my learners yesterday morning, and we came across an owl in the forest main, and it was within view of the Swanson's hawk nest, which would be the kind of platform that an owl would use. I'll talk more about that when we get in the area, but even though I have a lot of things on my agenda today, I couldn't help but come back out here to check and see whether the owl is still around. If it is, that means there's a chance that they're going to be selecting that nest, that hawk's nest, to take over and use as a nesting site of their own within the coming month or so. So it could mean that there'll be a nice little story to follow here, but I'll see if I can find the owl this morning. If I don't, this video may never make the air. But hopefully I can bump into him. I am going to employ a childhood curse word and say holy shitoli. This is a pileated woodpecker. Now, in 14 years of studying down here, visiting every week, I have seen pileated woodpeckers in the Lethbridge river bottoms, I think twice before. And it seems like in the last couple of years there's been a lot more sign of them here. There is sign in the forest main of them visiting that I've pointed out on other videos, but I'll show it again today when I make my way down to that area. They have very distinctive kind of patterns to the way that they make their cavities in trees, both for nests and in terms of hunting, foraging for food. The patterns of the holes that they make are pretty distinct. So you can tell if a pileated woodpecker has been around, and I have seen sign both here at Sspopiikimi and at Cottonwood Park, of pileated woodpecker visits within the last year and a half, 2 years. I saw one, I think about a year ago, not this past summer, but maybe the summer before, so maybe a year and a half ago, down in the area that we call Ewok Village, kind of just in the forest downstream on the west side of Whoop-Up Bridge. But I certainly hadn't expected to find one of these guys here today. In Blackfoot, their name is Sspopiikimi. Sspopiikimi means raw head. His head looks raw because of the red. Now I'm wishing I brought my still camera. I didn't bring it because I thought at the most I'm going to encounter the great horned owl, who I'm hoping to come across here. And I've got a gazillion pictures of great horned owls, so, but I don't have very many images of Sspopiikimi. Alright, here's the Swanson's hawk nest that I hope will become an owl nest for Guckanote stoatgeeks, the great horned owls, in a month or so. That's when they start laying their eggs. So I'm hoping. And the pileated woodpecker is right in this area somewhere over here, in the place where me and my students initially saw the great horned owl the other day, was just up here around the bend, where there's also it's John Nightingale, I think. Yeah, it looks like John. See if he happens to come down this trail. He would be interested in the pileated. I won't break up his run though. Any case, yeah, just up here is where we first saw the owl, so I want to be aware of that. But there's also a tree, or a dead tree, that was one of the signs of the pileated having been here before. And when I've taken walking tours through here, as I do fairly often, whenever I have a new group, I point it out to them, because I have examples of 3 different woodpecker species working one single tree. That's right here. And so as we move up the tree here, I'll focus in. We have down at the bottom the hole of a downy woodpecker or a hairy woodpecker, one of the two. And as we move up, come across a flicker hole, northern flicker. And as you move up further than that, there is a cavity created by a pileated woodpecker. So quite different styles. No sign of the owl yet, but I think this is exactly where we encountered him. Right here, because I was pointing out the nest old nest of an oriole up here. I was pointing that out to the students right there, and then we heard this, the branch is just right in here move, and we saw the bird, the owl, fly off this way. And as we continue walking the path, we encountered the owl 2 more times. So it was definitely a great horned owl, probably a female. It was a very large owl, and the females tend to be larger than males. But my hope is that she would be using that eyeball in that nest there. See, here's another tree where we got examples of the same kind of thing. Flicker cavity there, pileated cavity there. No sign of the owl yet, but this magpie just flew up here showing me something. He's carried something up here and he's eating it now. There's a lot of magpie activity at the moment. So they found some resource and they're sharing it amongst themselves. And usually what happens is they take pieces like this, they fly into the forest, eat as much as they can of the piece that they took. If they can eat it all, they'll eat it all. If not, they'll cache the rest, go back for more, and just keep caching until the resource is all hidden in the forest. I'm gonna have to zoom in on this at home and see if I can make out what it is. It's some like pink strip of something. It looked like a leaf when she carried it up there, but it's obviously, you know, not a leaf. And I can't really make it out with my naked eye, and I didn't bring my binoculars today. So I have to zoom in at home with iMovie. They're all talking to each other. I'm moving closer now. I love how she uses this shield. Sets herself in the nook of the branch to eat. She's still maintaining awareness, she's still looking around, but she at least has some shielding while she's busy doing this. It's got to be some kind of flesh the way she's tearing at it. It's so thin though. What is that? You can hear the chickadees here now too. One of the other magpies is just back here. You'll have to trust me on that if you didn't see the tail flicker. But that's one of the ones that's been calling back and forth to this one. And that magpie does not have any of the food. So... well, now it's flying. But it makes me think that whatever this one picked up, it's probably something that a human dropped. Otherwise there'd be more resource to go around for everybody. Well, no sign of the owl. all the way through the rest of the forest. And after narrating my little recording there, and probably in combination with nightingales jogging past, there was no further sound of the pileated chopping away at the trees. So I'm pretty sure the pileated's still in the area. Probably let one or two other bird-minded fellows know so they can come check him out, sleuth them out. But I don't really have the time this morning. I only really had like an hour to kill. Gotta head out. So very, very cool to see the pileated down here. I'll probably check back in tomorrow morning, again in search of that potential owl, since we are heading into owl and eagle nesting season. All right.